Follow your lead.
Hey, everybody. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I am Lachelle Atkins, also known as America's Supermom, and I am the mother of 15 children. And I still have 10 at home, which is crazy. So I was telling Leslie before we hit record, I'm glad I made it, right? Because so many things happen in a day
Oh,
that truly, you're glad that you can show up. So I'm excited today to talk about goals because we can plan things all the time. We see what we want in the future. We want
mhm.
to have it. We can taste it. We can feel it, but somehow it just doesn't happen. So I'm excited to have this real conversation today with Leslie, who is my wonderful guest, and she always has great rooms and conversations. So I feel honored to have her here with me. So before we get into talking about goals, if you guys have any questions about it, put it in the chat so we can be answering these live in a Q&A session because we've just got 30 minutes. So that flies by when you're having fun. So Leslie, over to you.
Well, look at here. Look at here. We've got Omar and Paul and Lachelle. Thanks so much for having me. I got really excited when I saw that you recently, and I follow you,
Hmm.
right, have been dipping into goals. And this happens to be my area of expertise. I have a few different ones, but they all emanate really and are designed the same. And I've spent a lot of time with clients figuring out what is it that we don't know about achieving goals every time. And what I realize is we actually know everything. We forgot.
Mm.
We forgot what we already know. So today we're going to take a look at the myths. I'd love to take a look at why does it seem so elusive to set one goal after the other and achieve them consistently? Right?
Mhm.
Well, the best that anybody that I've met, is haphazard or sporadic results. To your point,
Yeah.
which you said initially, we have all the plans, we know what we want, we can smell it, taste it, we love it,
Mhm.
right? And it doesn't happen. And there's a few reasons for that. So, welcome to everybody. And I'll let you take the lead on how
Yes.
you'd like this to go, my friend.
Awesome. Well, I see that we have Paul, Hannah, and Notion here
Yeah,
with us, and Omar. So
yeah.
thank you guys for joining. And I'm just going to give you a call to action that if you guys have any questions, put them in the chat and we will address them. But I think the first thing that really is intriguing about SMART goals. So you believe that they don't work, right? So I think we'll start there because a lot of people are told in business and just an everyday conversation, make sure your goals are smart, and we've got this acronym and how we follow them. So I think let's start there with some of these myths.
Sure, sure. So, the problem with goal setting is no one ever taught us how. You know, when we learned about multiplication tables, when we learned about algebra, we practiced all those things. There's rules.
Hmm.
In fact, do you remember word problems, Lachelle? Did you
Yes.
hate them or did you love
Mhm.
them?
I didn't like them, but I
I
knew
know.
that it was a process too.
Well, but I don't remember that. It wasn't until I never got the word problems right. I
Hmm.
just couldn't get it. Like, one train leaves at one place,
Right.
and they're meeting in the United States in the middle of the country and who got there first and how fast they were
Exactly.
going. And oh my God. Now, it wasn't until I was in college and I was taking an algebra course. And this is the key with goal setting also.
Hmm.
The teacher said we were on word problems. I went, oh my God, no, not word problems all these years later, right? They're still talking about the trains leaving, the bullet trains. And the teacher said something kind of innocuous. There were only 6 simple algebraic formulas for all word problems. What? And then he listed them. And I mean, they're simple algebra, right?
Hmm.
You get this in beginner algebra. From that point on, I could solve every single word problem because there was a formula. Well, if you think back, in over 15 years of helping people set goals, and by the way, I have 500 cases of achieved 90-day goals based on my hybrid system, right? And most of them are continuous. Like it isn't someone comes in and does one and goes, they spend years, because what happens is every time you achieve a goal, it increases your confidence and your ability to do something that you've never done before. So you're now building faith in yourself, real faith, like, oh, I did it and I did a good job. And so that is how you grow your company consistently. People who are successful are doing this. They may not know exactly what I teach. But anyway, I've never met anybody in 15 years who was taught how to set a goal. So that was the problem right there. And immediately I went to solve it. Well, the first thing I heard was SMART goals. And I looked at them and I said, there's no way this can work. So I avoided them. They don't know what they're talking about. I looked it up. And really, what SMART goals were designed was for middle management tasks. Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound.
Right.
That's for the tasks, the daily, weekly, monthly tasks that you will do to reach your goals. So yes, if I set out tasks toward my goal a few months down the road, and they've got to be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound, right? But the goal that has your business grow and that, like you said, you fall in love with, you can smell it and taste it, it is not achievable or realistic. You don't know how you're going to do it. You're going to do it.
Right.
Right. But you do not know how. And that is one of the 12 laws of achievement. If you already know how to achieve the goal, it's not a good goal. Then the other one is realistic. Well, you don't exactly know. You're saying you want this on this date. You've done things similar to it, but you don't know how you're going to do it. So it's not realistic, and it's really not achievable when you start. The process of achievement is to build faith in the fact that you can do it. So here we are, and we can look in the. Let's look at the comments.
Yeah. Now, so
let me just finish this little piece for you.
Yeah.
So we're trying to fit a round peg into a square hole with SMART goals. That's all we've ever had. So no one actually has taught us. Teachers didn't know. Nobody taught this to anybody. By the way, the information is not secret. It has been written in 5,000 years since we've been documenting history. So all the answers are in the New Testament, the Bhagavad Gita, the Quran, it's everywhere. However, gathering the information in one place is what I spent the last 15 years doing. There were no rules, right? There were no rules. So therefore, I knew for my clients, I better come up with a checklist. And that's exactly what I've done. So there's 12 laws of achievement. And that's those 500 goals. Those people did not know how they were going to achieve it. It was not realistic. But they had the checklist. So the idea here is the more of them you use, the better your chance at achieving. So does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense.
So the reason we aren't consistent, nobody taught us how. There was no checklist. There were no rules. There was nothing. So we didn't have anything. Give me rules, give me a checklist, and I'm pretty good, right? Because it's clear. It's confusing when sometimes you achieve a goal and sometimes you don't. Well, why is that? How come I achieved that one?
Right.
And I didn't achieve this one? Well, that's not your area of study. So what do? We continue on trying to squeeze now the round peg into the square hole or the square peg into the round hole.
I love that. That's good stuff. So you have a checklist So those
Yes,
of you that are watching, let's guess what's on this checklist. So you guys could be doing that. But we do have a
absolutely.
question.
Why do
Why
we
do
emotionally attach to our goals? Um, why wouldn't we?
Mm,
So I'm not meaning to be cute.
right.
They don't call me cute anymore, right? But here's the thing, you want to be emotionally attached to the outcome,
Love that.
not to the steps to get there. In fact, let me just see that
Mm,
one of the rules is if you know all the steps, pick another goal. Now,
I see.
boy, so that means you cannot know how when you begin. You have to fall in love with that notion. You want to be attached to the outcome, but not the steps. I hope that answers your
That
question.
I love that. That was good. Okay.
Lachelle, do you think that that answered her question
I
well?
think that is great because you're also, whatever you're emotionally attached to, you're going to be passionate to keep doing. So you need to be committed to your goal regardless, because you're going to grow and you're going to get out of your comfort zone with some things that you didn't know that you had to do to get to the goal. So if you're
Right. And then when
emotionally
you
attached,
do
yeah,
it, then when you actually do it, right, you regard yourself and holy mackerel, I did this.
right,
I did not know how. That's why you get these phenomenal stories,
yeah,
right, of people how they've done these absolutely unbelievable things. They did not know how. They'd never done it before. They built
hmm,
faith in themselves. So Dr. DeShawn says, how do we stop being moved by emotions? Why would you want to?
hmm,
You don't want to be stopped by emotions when it comes to achieving your goal. So let me be clear, the difference is the tasks are one thing, the goal is another.
love
Yeah.
that.
So
Hmm.
you do want to be moved, but you want it by positive emotions. So always pick a goal that has a big why. And that's one of the laws of achievement.
Checklist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I
what
love
else have we got here?
Let me see here. Do we have another question? Paul is saying 100%. So I think I love this. Now, I was reading in Tiny Habits with BJ Fogg, and he was saying that when you have a goal, it's an aspiration. So it's not even a
That's right.
behavior. You
Exactly
have
right.
to line the behavior up. So explain to the people, how do they do that? So, like, let's just give us an example of somebody having the goal that they're emotionally attached to,
Mhm.
but deciding what behavior to do first or second in order to get to that goal. So,
Okay, so behavior is that mindset? I'm not sure exactly what you mean by.
okay, so maybe the task. So
Oh,
with that
okay,
behavior, the
okay,
things that we do. Yeah.
okay. So the trick, the tasks, you don't lay them all out. So I use 90 days. It's
Mm,
long enough for people that they will stay disciplined that long. Any more than that, I have found over 500 results. It can't be more. Or in general, 90 days works perfectly. You also build a new belief in yourself, right? In your
mhm,
ability and your deservability. So the next time you get a crazy idea, the first thing that you're going to think and you're going to hear, right, from your beliefs is, oh, I've never done that before. I must be, you know, I'm not the one to do this. I'm not smart enough. And then you stop. Well, the
mhm,
more times you do things and set and achieve goals that you didn't know how to do, you now have new beliefs. So
mhm,
then when you get something brand new and you've never done it before, and you hear your inner voice, which is your limiting or negative belief about why you can't do it, right? That's
mhm,
the first thing that comes up before you can inhale. Like,
mhm,
this is a bad idea, Leslie. You've never done it before. You're not smart enough. Nobody is listening, right? We all have those.
mhm,
Before that comes up, because you have built new beliefs and done things that blew yourself away,
mhm,
now you get to choose. You get to choose what thought. So you can say, oh, yeah, I do remember that. But you know what? But out, because I know I can do this. So this is where you have mindset flexibility or agile thinking, where
mhm,
you're not controlled right, by that limiting belief that gets in there, I'm telling you, before you breathe. So the way you do it is you only set 2 tasks each week, maybe the next week, because here's why.
Mm-hmm.
What happens is, this is the magic of all this, and we could do a master class maybe on this down the
Yeah.
road. But what
Who's
happens?
up for a master class? You guys put it in the comments.
Yeah,
But go
let us know if you're up to do something more in depth. If
ahead.
you know, I can really tell you how this works. But what happens is about 60 days into the 90 days in my hybrid program, which is built on Think and Grow Rich and 25 years of personal development. This is not a promo. I'm giving this to you as the structure.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I forgot where I was going. What
The
was it?
90,
Oh, around 60 days.
yes.
Here's why you don't plot out all the tasks. This is why, and you want to.
Okay.
So this goes against everything we know. Well, let
Mm-hmm.
me figure out I need X amount of money this month or this quarter. So I know I need to make this much each month and this much each week. That's not the way to set a goal.
Mm.
So what happens is when you set a goal around the 60-day mark, the universe sends you people and opportunities that take you directly toward your goal. And if you are attached to all the tasks that you think you need to do, they will walk right by. And when they show up, the opportunity or the person that takes you directly to your goal, you used to say this is a coincidence. Let me assure you, it is not a coincidence. So that's why you do not want to plot out every task, because people will show up and you'll go, boy, is that phenomenal. You know, I'm so glad I met you today. I've been thinking about this. And the perfect person, the perfect opportunity that takes you directly towards your goal. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. And so we're able to have that flexibility
That's
because we're able to take action on that opportunity because we're not so thinking about, oh, I got to do X, Y, Z. I love that. That sounds like
well, you
my
haven't hemmed yourself in like, oh God, I've got to do this
exactly,
many calls this day, this many calls this day. And
exactly,
somebody walks right by who is your potential partner, who is exactly who you wanted, and you didn't even see them
right.
because you're
Yeah,
so attached. I got to do it this way. But remember, you're not supposed to know how. If you know how, pick another goal.
I love.
Don't pick a goal that you already know how. That's smart,
I
right?
love that. I love. So, Deshaun is
Oh,
saying, "Thank
I
you,
want to
lady."
body build.
Mm-hmm. But I
Stop,
feel
because I
bad.
feel bad. Okay, so one of the things, that's a great point, and you're welcome, Dr.
Mm-hmm.
Deshawn. Um, it's based in one of the elements. The achievement is why you want to body build. What will it make available to you? Why did you choose that? Then, when you don't feel like it or you're unhappy with yourself, you've simply forgotten why you started it. You only think one conscious thought at a time. So if you get down the road and you're doing bodybuilding, and by the way, Dr. Deshawn, I have a former client who is a bodybuilder, and I will connect you with her. She also works with women who they work for 6 months on like a 10K kind of thing. And
Mm-hmm.
so I can absolutely introduce you to this lady who is a financial person, right? But she is a bodybuilder and she has faced those things. Anybody who's bodybuilt. So the deal is, you forgot why. You
Mm-hmm.
forgot why you were doing it. And just remind yourself, oh, yeah, because I want to fit in that bikini, because I want to look good when I go out dancing, because I deserve it, because it's better health, because I breathe better, because I like the way it looks.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. So Lonnie
Mm-hmm.
says focus on the what and the how. So the way, that's brilliant. And how I would
Mm-hmm.
also interpret that is focused on the why, not what it is. If I were going to choose, I would change what to why. I know
Mm-hmm.
what it is that I want.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Deshawn knows what it is. It
Mm-hmm.
is why you want it. That's where that emotion comes.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, as I said before, and to Lonnie Ray's point, if you know how, pick another goal, because if it you do not want to know how, and it goes against everything, right, that we know, and we do know things. We
Mm-hmm.
know, I've learned that we know about half of the 12. We actually know
Mm-hmm.
them. The problem is we don't know the other half. And so six, knowing six, you don't know which six,
Mm-hmm.
right? So unless you want to get into this and figure this system out for yourself, where you set and achieve, set and achieve, set and achieve, right? Then it's going to be haphazard or sporadic. Therefore, you're going to still have disappointments. There's
Mm-hmm.
no real momentum and growth in your business, right? You're really doing this. I
Yeah.
mean, really.
Yeah.
So once you know the 12 rules, and by the way, I'll give you this. The
Mm-hmm.
purpose of the goal is to motivate you into action. If you aren't motivated into action, pick another goal. It has
Mm-hmm.
to match. So the more of these, well, if that makes sense, God led
I
me.
love that. This is good stuff.
I am on the air now.
Now, so I'm asking everybody, what do you think is on this checklist? Because she's saying that
Yes.
there's 12 things. Now, Paul mentioned earlier that things change when he wrote things down.
The tasks change. And the other thing, to Paul's point, the
Mm-hmm.
tasks will change, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yes, you want to write it down. That okay, writing it down, writing your goal down, if that's what Paul means.
Okay.
Writing it out, and that's a really big one that he brought up. It
Okay.
is one of the 12.
Okay.
Write your goal as though you have already achieved it.
Okay.
So I want a beach house. I want a beach house Christmas 2024. I have no clue how I'm going to get it, right? But when I write about it and I think about it and I visualize about it, I'm not standing on the edge of the property looking at the beach house I want to buy. I bought it and I'm walking around inside. My
Mm-hmm.
feet are sticking to the shellac floors. The reason for this is to raise your cellular vibration to the highest vibration. Love, gratitude, kindness, those are all really high positive vibrations. Well, you feel good. You
Mm-hmm.
just feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And the trick, which we can get into another time,
Mm-hmm.
is how often can you maintain that? So when I say go back to your why, immediately your vibration spikes.
Mm-hmm.
When you remind yourself why, right, you start to feel good again. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Dr. Deshawn says, I get it now. I'm going to get me, I'm going, right, right, right. I mean, you can change your own mindset that quickly. So do we have any? Okay, we should always think positive, Cynthia
Mm-hmm.
says. Yes, that's helpful.
Mm-hmm.
People have to let go of pride. Oh, Mary is so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this is letting go of your pride. The opposite of what is what? Lachelle, what's the opposite of pride?
Humility, I would say.
Yes, and how about vulnerability?
Yeah. Love that.
So, Mary, this is profound what you have said, because there's truth in this, and it's scary to be vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
The best speakers tell one on themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, I use self-deprecation in a funny way when I speak. Right. But what happens to the audience is they go, well, if she can talk about that, I got that too. Right.
Mm-hmm.
There's something special about that person. I resonate with them because they're overweight too. And they're laughing about it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mary, thank you for that. That is probably, I'm going to give you the big star so far for that one, because if you can be vulnerable,
Mm-hmm.
life gets so much better. But it's a goal. It can be an aspiration of yours to be vulnerable, and then you have to practice. Yes, I imagined a shower of $100 bills overhead and I won the lottery and got the biggest book deal. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know how? Did Lonnie know how? she was going to win the lottery? No. She was going to just do what she knew, but she had no idea how she'd win. And chances are
Mhm.
slim to none. And Slim died yesterday with those, right? And the biggest book deal of her life, she didn't
Wow.
know how she was going to do this. So it was her why. What difference would it make in her life, in her family's life? Did she
Mhm.
have a message in her book that she was
Mhm.
burning to get out? That, when we
Mhm.
have terrible things befall us or challenging things, let's say that,
Mhm.
like somebody actually having 15 children. I bet you
Shameless
didn't
plug.
know how you
Shameless
do it.
plug, y'all. No.
There you go. But the question is, you didn't know how you were going to do it. Oh, hell no.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely. Mhm.
So you see, it's all within, we can
Oh,
actually
this is what she said. She said she focused on the numbers, played with
trade with,
expectations.
and okay, she set a date. That is one of the elements. You
Okay.
must set a date. Now,
Mhm.
you will not determine the exact date. One of the universal laws will. But where the insightful thing in what Lonnie is sharing for us all, she played with expectation. In that phrase is where the unknown was. She
Mhm.
risked, she played, she may have focused on numbers, but something tells me that she was wide open to whatever the universe was sending her.
Mhm.
She had an expectation that she would, but didn't know all the elements to get there.
Mhm.
So she's exactly right. Yeah, it
Well,
is.
this is a great conversation, and I
We
want
keep
to
going
thank
if you want.
everybody. Yeah, I want to thank everybody. If you guys have like a final question or something, put it in
Mhm.
the comments because, as you can see, 30 minutes is going by quick, but
Well, no, I'm okay. Are you okay to go a
oh,
little
I'm
bit
good. Yeah,
longer?
we got some more time.
I
Yeah.
wanted to go up here to Paul. Paul's okay. Well, the book deal was me raising my prices and value when the client showed up for me to write her memoirs. Yes, and in the raising your prices, that too is a goal. And you didn't know how you did it until
Mhm.
you did it, right? So it took faith. It took stepping out of your comfort zone, which
Mhm.
Lachelle has done. So here's the deal. You've already done all this, everybody.
Mhm.
It's looking kind of using biomimicry, like where you really get your best answers is by watching the 3-year-old toddler at supper time going for the chocolate chip cookie, which is on top of the refrigerator,
Mhm.
right? The mother sees it. No, 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 we're having dinner. The child looks up at looks at the mother and is moving toward the chocolate chip cookie. No, don't do that. It's supper time or whatever. That child doesn't care. That child starts to move the chair over to climb up on the counter. He doesn't care if he falls. Doesn't care if mama gets mad at him. He's going for that cookie and he gets it.
Mhm.
Watch your children. They have a burning desire. He had a plan, but the goal doesn't change, but the plan will. Right.
Mhm.
So the plan might have been upset by mother, but the point is that they don't have the negative beliefs. They only know what they want when they want what they
Mhm.
want when they want it. My mentor says commit first and figure. That's exactly right.
Mhm.
Grant learned everything he knows from me, Paul. You just didn't know that. And I'll bet you $50 that his program is based in Think and Grow Rich.
Mhm.
Okay. $50, Paul. Okay. I'd have to look at his work to see. But
Mhm.
yes, that's exactly right. A lot of people believe set up the program, right? Or set up a workshop and then create it if people have already signed up to come. In other words, a lot of times you don't have to create the product first and then promote it. It's riskier, but you could promote it, which forces you. to create the product. So let's say you have an idea for something, nobody's interested. Well, you didn't have to create the product, nobody was interested. If everybody's interested, then you meet a path to the door and you create the product. So that's excellent advice. I
Mhm.
don't know process. You said commitment and clarity and execution. So that is commitment is intending with a clear purpose and goal and then taking action. Those are just bigger words. What is it you want? Make sure that it's extremely clear and you can fall in love with it and then move your
Mhm.
feet. Because if you're sitting around dreaming about a goal, consider that your goal is sitting on its couch over there. When you get up, the goal gets up. When you begin moving toward the goal or people to take you there move toward you. So, really, what you want is moving toward you with the same vibration or relation or emotion that you're moving toward it. That is results match what you believe and the emotion around that belief. Do you think some things are just meant to be? Ooh. They're all meant to be. We just don't know it. They're all meant to be because we're source, because we are co creators with the universe God, Buddha, Krishna, energy, spirit. It's one. We have a partner. The partner has their part in your life and achieving your goal. So we get back what we ask for on purpose or not, right? By
Mhm.
default, through thinking something over and over again. If you think something negative over and over and over again, it shows up. Well, hey, you actually brought it to you. So I would say that everything is meant to be. We just don't know yet. That's why we have to be watching for people and opportunities, because when they show up, you're the cause. You don't know how powerful you are.
I
You have
love
no
that.
idea. Thank you.
That's good. So this is what Lonnie says. What you want wants you even more than you want it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. At
Mhm.
least as much.
Mhm.
Your results will exceed or match your level of effort. So there you'll have some downtimes, but results will exceed or match what you're doing. So if you're doing something negative, your results are going to be negative. The
Mhm.
trick is they don't always show up right after something positive. So, and one of the laws is that, for every positive, there's a negative. So if
Mhm.
you do something negative over and over and over again, negative people are going to show up
Right.
and you're going to go, well, all right, but you caused it. So when that happens, step away.
Well,
Yeah.
and I love that whole thing, of us taking the accountability, but also recognizing that we are attracting what we're putting out there.
And mind is an activity in your cells. So this vibration, this is not brain. This is mind. This is my area of expertise. So mind is an activity. Bruce Lipton and Richard Brody have written books that show that when you're in a happy mood, the proteins in every cell move in unison in one direction. And when you feel lousy and you're dragging your feet, they move together in another direction. So you can actually cause a rise in vibration, a spring in your step, right? By thinking consistently of what will having that goal make available for me. If it's a big financial goal, I got 15 kids to put through college,
Mhm.
right? I know what that'll mean for my family, right? And you get very
Mhm.
excited about it. Love
Love
this. And
that.
yes, when we take back authority over our lives, that's exactly right. We're not alone.
Mhm.
The thing is that we do have a partner. And the
Mhm.
language, the way you get the attention of the universe. Oh, I forgot to say that prayer is another one of those high vibration. The
Mhm.
universe hears our vibration.
Mhm.
That's why you get back how you're feeling.
Mm.
So if you set a goal that uses the 12 elements or the laws of achievement, you're going to have your best chance at achieving it every time. The other thing is you don't have to worry about the stuff that the universe manages. We worry about everything. But
Mm.
one of the laws is the exact day of manifestation. So if you're going down the road and you picked a specific day and didn't happen that day, and you're thinking, oh, what did I do wrong? Or there must be something wrong with me. Immediately we go into this, what did I do?
Right.
Right. But that particular part of achievement is governed by that law. So you don't need to worry about it. Because what if it's 2 days later? So what? You got this far. So once you know what governs manifestation, which laws and what their job is, if you will, what they
Mhm.
worry about. Okay. The
Mhm.
laws worry about some things, we worry about others, but if we don't know what they worry about, we worry about everything.
I love that. Well, and to me, that's knowing what you can and can't control.
That's
Because
right.
if you know that you can't control that, so just that's something you could take off your plate,
But
right?
what is the one thing? There's only one thing that we control, Michelle. Only one thing over which we have control. It is the core of our awareness and our humanity. What do you think that one thing is? That's
Thought.
it.
I would say the thought.
It's what you think.
Yeah.
Period. The end. Now,
Exactly, because you could have a belief that's subjective, like, now everybody believes the same. So because it's based on what you think on how you believe about something.
and it's yes, and it's what you think repetitively in spaced intervals over time.
Mhm.
So take for example politics.
Mhm.
So there are people that watch one station and they get only one point of view, but they watch it all the time. They leave it on in the background.
Mhm.
Okay. So this is not intentional, but it is the spaced repetitive intervals that you allow into your conscious mind. Just because you're not absorbing it and thinking every word, it takes over your conscious mind. And beliefs basically happen over a period, like I told you, about 90 days. If you calculate it, you
Mhm.
can create a new belief in something. Take for example,
For
um, uh,
example.
Patty Hearst. In the
Mhm.
70s, she was kidnapped. Patty Hearst was the granddaughter of William Randolph Hearst, really rich publisher on the West Coast in the
Mhm.
70s. And this is when I was in college, right? She
Mhm.
was kidnapped by the Symbionese Liberation Army, the SLA, and they
Mhm.
kept her in a closet, Lachelle. And all day long, they fed her the policies of the SLA, which was
Mhm.
an angry, you can look it up, but they
Right.
brandished rifles. They went out and caused issues. Within a few weeks, she actually had a rifle and was in their team. She was brainwashed. But the brainwashing is a word for auto suggestion or self suggestion. So whether you're doing it to yourself or someone else is doing it,
Mm.
you will believe it. And everybody's beliefs are true for them. The
Mhm.
thing is your view changes when you get new information,
Mm.
right? So you've got a whole cluster of beliefs. So yes, people, they believe their stuff. The people that watch that one station, whether it's Fox or MSNBC, they believe that.
Right.
They absolutely believe it. And look what Lonnie says: delete the need to understand. It helps you to let go of stuff you can't control. I like that.
Mhm.
I like that. If
Mhm.
you know what those things are, right? So you have to do a certain amount of understanding so that you can let go of being disappointed when the goal didn't come in on the exact day. Sometimes they come in
Mhm.
early,
Mhm.
or it could be a big goal and it's off by a few weeks. So what? You've only got 3 weeks to go. And it wasn't your decision anyway. You don't get to say, you tell the universe what your end date is because it
Mhm.
motivates you. I'd
Right.
rather say it's December 15th, 2024, and I am walking inside my beach house
Mm.
rather than, you see how exciting that can be, right?
Right.
It's a coming for Christmas. Where am I going to put the Christmas tree?
Mhm.
Rather than sometime next year, I hope and pray that I will have a beach
Mhm.
house. Not very motivating.
I
But if
love
I'm
that.
inside the house and I'm
Mhm.
looking at it, there's a lot of windows. Right?
Mhm.
There's a lot of windows and shades, right? So once you
Mhm.
start visualizing it, you spike your vibration. It feels good.
Mm.
That's positive thinking. The reason you think positively, and then do it a lot. You do
Right.
it in space. So when you're working on your goal, the trick is to touch it every other day. Right. When you learned
Mhm.
your multiplication tables, you didn't do it once a week on Mondays. You
Right.
did it every day ad nauseum, right?
Yeah.
Until you know today, right? Decades later, because you believed it, right? You believe that 6 times 7 is 42. Nobody's convinced you that it's anything different. So if someone says, hey, Mary, what's 6 times 7? Mary says 42. She hasn't learned that since she was in third grade.
Right.
So beliefs matched her results. So when asked that question, she was able to, the result matched what she believed. 6 times 7 is 42. What she said was 42. They match.
I love that. Now, so you brought up something about the auto suggestion and how, the beliefs. Why do people not change when they see the new information?
They have to practice.
Okay.
Mostly they do that because we're looking for a quick fix.
Right.
Well,
Okay.
it took you decades to build these beliefs. That's
Mm.
why 90 days, and you'll read the 12-week year. I mean, I'm not the first person to know that 90 days is the right. I just worked at it for 20,000 hours and 15 years on this specific challenge. And now I've got a hybrid system that will allow you or anybody who follows it. So it is, we don't, the why isn't strong enough. See, if
Mm.
we don't have an exact, clear idea of what we want and we are not falling in love with it, we will not have the discipline and persistence to build faith.
Mm.
We will give up. And that's what happens. I used to be the girl who has all the good ideas, and then I want other people to come in and execute. Paul, what do you think
Right.
about that? I'll come up with the ideas, Paul. That's right.
Love
Believe
that.
in you will achieve. Mary, that's been around since for 5,000 years.
Mhm.
Jesus, Buddha, Lao Tzu, all the greats, all the way up to right now.
Mhm.
If you believe it, you'll hold it in your hand. Well, how do you get to belief? You have to see the signs that the universe is sending what you
Mhm.
need. As soon as you see the signs, you know that this is true. And the weird thing is that once you do achieve the goal, we still question ourselves the next time.
Mhm.
Even though we know we can do it, we've done things that are absolutely amazing we never thought we could do. We built our confidence, and confidence is actually a byproduct of consistent achievement. Every time you set a goal and you achieve it, you go, ooh, this is real confidence. This isn't superficial confidence. Take
Exactly.
my class and you'll be confident. Not happening, because
Mhm.
confidence is a muscle that needs exercise. And the way we exercise it is by achieving goals that we didn't know how
Mhm.
to do. Does that make
Love
sense?
that. That's good stuff.
Good. They don't
So
want to jump out of the comfort zone. Oh, excellent point. I
mhm.
hadn't thought of it that, Hina. I love that. They don't want to
Mhm.
jump out of their comfort zone. Okay, because there's fear.
Mhm.
You're afraid. You haven't done it before.
Right.
So, of course, you're going to be fearful. So, the more times you
Mhm.
do it when you're afraid and you do it anyway, that becomes
Mhm.
less and less of an obstacle for you,
Mhm.
right? You aren't. up all night worrying should you or shouldn't you, because you already know that you have done this before. So it's pretty easy to make a decision.
Yeah.
But it takes practice to answer the question before.
Mhm.
We are not willing. We have to be willing to put something into it. And if
Right.
you find somebody that has a system like mine, doesn't have to be
Mhm.
mine, it can be somebody else's. The best programs for creating new beliefs, you don't actually change your old ones. They never disappear. You can't change the same this energy source for the same energy source. So you create a new belief that has more weight than the old one,
Mhm.
but you'll hear the old one, right?
Mhm.
You'll hear the old Lachelle saying, God, we're on baby number 6. Are we insane? And then your new belief says, oh, hey, 6 is nothing. We're going for 15. Right.
I love it. I love it.
Right. So excellent point. So what have we got for people that are figuring out there? These are very good.
Nobody has guessed about the checklist, but they're all getting engaged and making some great notes.
Well,
But
and actually some of the insights converted. So the
mhm.
ones I did hear, King David went to
Mhm.
battle naked when Paul riding under the oh, yeah. American sense of humor. Um, so I told you that you have to be motivated.
Mhm.
Okay.
A date
And
was important.
the date, you've got to have a specific date. Remember, you
Mhm.
cannot know how.
Writing it down.
Writing it down in present tense as
Present tense.
though you've already achieved it. You cannot know how to do it. What is that, 5 or 6?
Um, I think that was 5.
Yeah. So let me think if there was one more. That's pretty good.
Was it the visualization?
That comes in the writing out and the
That's in writing in
visualizing.
present tense.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And by the way, if you guys like visualization, that's one tool, right? What do they call them? Vision boards. That's one tool, right? There are 7
Mhm.
laws, and the law of attraction is a subset of one of them. If
Oh, was
all
it
you
vulnerability was one? Did we talk about that?
no, but that was the doozy of the day.
Yeah.
It
Mhm.
was not, it was, what did she say? Oh, pride. Mary
Mhm.
said we have to give up pride.
Mhm.
The opposite, and this is the law of polarity, the opposite of
Mhm.
prideful is humility or vulnerability.
Mhm.
But that's not one of the elements. But boy, was that a doozy.
Yeah, that was good.
That was excellent. I'm telling you, boy,
Mhm.
if you get that. Where's my Paul? Is he gone? Sometimes we have to
I
be
think
ready.
he might have left.
Oh, Cynthia said sometimes we. Okay, last point here.
Mhm.
This is really important, Cynthia. I told you that you know half of this,
Mhm.
everybody, right? And you can watch a child and pretty well figure out what is it they're doing to get what they want, but then you have to practice it. So there are occasions, and I'll give you this quick example. To Cynthia's point, this is really vital because there are times where you said to let go. I'm thinking let go of the goal.
Mhm.
She may not mean that. There are occasions. Here's an example. Good friend of mine, we would meet every Tuesday for margaritas and Taco Tuesday. And we would sit around and catch up on each other's week. She did websites and was a content creator, wonderful person.
Mhm.
And over one of our dinners, she said, guess what I did, Leslie? I said, what? She said, I signed up for a cake decorating class at the local technical college. Now, this is the first thing I've ever heard about cake decorating.
Mhm.
You did? She says, it's been my dream to be a cake or to learn how to cake decorate. She
Mhm.
always thought it would be great. Okay, so the next week she has the first class and she comes in with, she goes out and buys about $500 worth of equipment. Okay. Every tip, mold, paper, pan. Oh my God. You have no idea if you've ever looked at cake decorating. You could invest a fortune. Anyway, she
Mhm.
buys $500 worth of stuff and she comes and sits down. Give me a margarita. And she says, Leslie, there's something wrong with me. Can you maybe help me? I said, what's wrong with you, Michelle? I hate cake decorated. And she said, "What's wrong with me?" I said, "Nothing. You just moved past it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's okay. Right? You did it. You realize you are much more aware than that now. That childhood dream or that teenage dream or that early adulthood dream lost it. You moved past it. So
Yeah.
it happens sometimes, not often. The other
Mm-hmm.
thing that happens is, to Cynthia's point, which really wasn't her point, but I'll tell you, one of my corporate clients had invested a lot of money in about 10 years on a concept, and he loved it. I mean, he had all the right things, he had the people and everything, and it failed miserably. And
Mm-hmm.
he let it go, to Cynthia's point. And then 10 years later, when I met him, he resurrected it. Here's the thing, he wasn't ready to bring that to market. He didn't know enough. He didn't, according to the universe,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't have enough information. So when it came back around, because it's still his goal, right? He still put all the energy into it, the vibration, got the universe going. He did a lot of work. Well, the universe didn't forget. And when he reached the point of having the right expertise to carry this off, which is a pretty big deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then he achieved it. So the universe, in its wisdom, on occasion, you will not achieve your goal, but don't believe that you won't ever see it again. You may not have been ready. And remember, it's up to the universe to decide when you're ready to have that thing.
I love this. Well, this has been a great. I've got lots of notes, y'all.
Oh,
And
you're
that's
so
something
cute.
that I encourage people to do, to take notes, because you can hear information, but when you write it down, you remember it and you actually take action. I just know for myself,
Yes, yes.
that's what happens. So taking notes is very important. But how do they get a hold of you, Leslie? And tell us about, the opportunity to go deeper or anything that
Okay,
comes.
well, Lachelle and I, we're going to talk
Mhm.
about, because I love Lachelle, and you have been such a great audience. We're going to talk about a deeper exploration. You can
Mhm.
find me on LinkedIn. L Flowers is the last bit, right?
Mhm.
LinkedIn.com in/L Flowers.
Mhm.
On Friday mornings
Mhm.
at 10 a.m. live, I'm teaching Think and Grow Rich. Now, Think and Grow Rich is the #2 bestseller of all times today in personal development. Grant Cardone, all these people that have come up this last 100 years, I'll bet pretty much anybody $50 that they used the basis of Think and Grow Rich. Those are the principles of success. And Napoleon Hill gathered it. As I spent years gathering the checklist that we didn't ever have,
Mhm.
Napoleon Hill spent 20 years interviewing people to find out what were they doing, successful, highly successful, wealthy, happy, and healthy people,
Mhm.
right? Oh, successful across the board, that what they were doing that no one else was doing. So he was really the 20th century's greatest reporter by
Mhm.
gathering 5,000 years worth of success principles and continuing to follow up with these people to come up with the checklist, which are the 13 principles of success. It's fun. You don't have to read anything. I'm giving the 12 or sharing the 12 um, uh, the 12 greatest lessons in Think and Grow Rich
Mhm.
every Friday at 10 o'clock,
Every
free, live. Go to my profile page, click on the banner, and you're there. That's the best way. Because, and I
Mhm.
also, come here with Lachelle, and also today at 11 I'll be with Don Cohen, and I'll be talking about beliefs. So if
Mhm.
you want to know more about beliefs, hop in there. But my show, Fridays at 10, love to have you. Come and get what you can, come when you can, right? No pressure. And Lachelle, I just want to thank you for who you are for everybody,
Oh,
that you are a dynamo, a rock star, and you're
Mhm.
a collaborator. And I love who you are being for everybody. Really, to me, you're the epitome of generosity.
Oh, that
Your
is,
why is for me, not for you,
I love
right?
that.
And
Yeah.
and I love you, and that's who you are. Any last comments for anybody that's burning, that
Mhm.
wants to say something? What was your best takeaway? Anybody have one? Where
And
you
now
like,
somebody, Mary just got the book. So you've been talking about it, so she got the book. So that's a
okay,
good.
Mary, good. This is great. Mary, let me warn you. You don't have to read the whole book. What we're doing this week is in the introduction. My recommendation with Think and Grow Rich, read the preface and the introduction and then take a breath. You don't have to read it all. If you have to read more, go ahead and read Desire, which is the first chapter. We don't know if it's the right time for you, but what I can tell you is that you don't actually have to read it all. If you work with me and come to those lives, I'll give you the lessons to look for. So we're
Mm,
doing the introduction Friday, and there are 3 powerful lessons about definite purpose. Remember, you have got to have a very specific goal and a big why. What it right, and follow all the items that you know already. And so, just don't go beyond that. Give yourself some grace, right? And don't plow into it. Just do is my recommendation, the preface and the introduction to start. You'll be fine.
love that. Love that.
And just
So,
think, get the
mhm,
seed planted inside of us. Thank you, LinkedIn user.
yeah,
Whoever you are. Hey, reach out to me. Let's connect.
absolutely.
Everybody.
Mhm,
This was, thank you. Cynthia says, thank you for your precious time.
mhm.
Time is the one thing we never get back.
So true.
And think about this. I'll give you one more tip before we jump off.
Mhm.
When you set your goal, speaking of time, we don't get it back, and time doesn't appreciate your hesitation. You
I,
don't get that
mm,
back when you go, oh, what should I do? If you have a specific goal, you're moving toward it, something phenomenal shows up that sounds so exciting, an opportunity, a person, or whatever, ask this question. If I take this on now, will it move me toward my goal directly or not? If it won't, do not do it now. But
mm.
what I do is I tell the person, "Oh, this is so exciting. Look, could we talk about this next month? I really am excited about it." It's hard to do because we want to do everything, right?
Right.
But if you have a specific goal that you're working toward, it's more important that you achieve the goal than interrupt everything, lose focus, and try to do everything.
Mhm.
So just ask yourself the question, what a great opportunity, Leslie. You know what? This isn't going to work for me right this quarter. I'm working on something specific, but could we book a call and let's talk about it again? Because I'm very interested.
I love that.
Do that for yourself.
Mhm. Great points.
Thank you.
So, I mean, thank you guys so much, Mary and Hannah and
And
Cynthia,
Paul, and oh my God.
Dr.
And
Deshawn. I mean,
LinkedIn user.
yeah, you guys have definitely made this a great conversation. So we
Omar,
will.
Paul, Hina, and
Yeah.
Notion. I
Mhm.
mean, you guys, they're probably gone by now. It's
Mhm.
okay. Oh, and Dr. Deshawn,
Yeah.
reach out to me and I'll connect you with the gal who has
Mhm.
started with the bodybuilding and ran into some, probably has faced some of the challenges. I think you'll love her. So I'll
Mhm.
be happy to connect you with her.
Absolutely. Well, any final words that you wanna say, Leslie,
Oh
before we
my
go?
God. Oh my God. Who knew that this would turn out this way? This has been so much fun, Lachelle.
I know, I love it.
You're such a catalyst. You're a catalytic converter, and those are
I
expensive. You
love
know?
it. I love it.
Well, let's plan something for everybody a
Yeah.
little further out. We'll come up with a workshop maybe,
Mhm.
right, where we can
I think that's
actually
wonderful.
do some, um, where we can actually do set a goal. I'll give you some. We'll do some paperwork and some a real
Yeah.
workshop. And
Mhm.
there is a way to work with me, by the way. So if you
Mhm.
reach out to me, you can work with me for 12 weeks and I will teach you this system and you will achieve your goal. Right. But this is more about you knowing that you can do it. You've done it
Mhm.
before. You were never taught and you already know half of the rules. So you're way ahead of the game. And now you know that you don't have to worry about everything. You have your own things to worry about, and the
Mhm.
universe will worry about its things. And
Mhm.
that relieves a lot of anxiety and stress.
So true.
Yes.
I
You're the
love that.
best. You're the
All
best.
right. Well, you guys, thank you so much for watching.
Oh, so
Share this video to people that are in your network that can really get some value from this. We would love that. And we will be back and we will post in the link itself any information about our workshop and everything. So, Leslie,
yes. Yes. So
thank
keep
you so
up with
much.
us. Yes.
Yeah.
And keep up with Lachelle. She rocks
Oh,
like
you're so sweet.
crazy. You're so all right,
Love
Miss.
it. All
Thank
right,
you.
guys. You guys have a wonderful Wednesday. We'll see y'all
Yes,
later.
everybody. Thank you so much, Michelle.
You're
Bye.
welcome.